The Chicago Bulls come back to beat the Denver Nuggets. We're going to be talking about the key takeaways from tonight's huge win. This is your host, Rico Greenhowe, and you have found yourself on another episode of Bulls Digest. So today, the Chicago Bulls beat the Denver Nuggets 129 to 121. And I think the key takeaways out of this game is that the Chicago Bulls outscore the Denver Nuggets 41 to 10 off of the bench. So just terrific bench play for the Chicago Bulls tonight. Also, too, they hit 24 three-point shots, so they did a great job as far as knocking down three-pointers in this one. And lastly, Patrick Williams comes off the bench and plays well. So we're going to be talking about these key takeaways as we go ahead and jump into the box score of tonight's game. And so let's start with Ayo. And so Ayo, I thought, look, he played fantastic today. 17 points. He had 2 assists. He had 2 rebounds. He also had 2 steals, but he was plus 20, 6 of 13 from the field. And I think that this is probably the best that we've seen from Ayo since he's come back from his calf injury. Knocked down some three-point shots, especially some huge ones late as the Chicago Bulls were really surging to take over the lead in this one. So Ayo, his leadership was on full display in this game. So a great game from him. Next up, Vooch. And so Vooch finally gets his touches. I think that the Chicago Bulls did a great job as far as getting the basketball to Vooch. You see, he got 23 shots today, and that's what you need from him. 20 points, 10 rebounds. He had 6 assists in this, 1 steal. He was plus 2. But I think the key takeaway is just his involvement in the offense today. Next up, Zoe. And so, look, Lonzo Ball continues to be huge for the Chicago Bulls on the offensive end and the defensive end. He knocked down some huge shots late in this game. But more importantly, he had a very good defensive sequence where he doubles on the Joker, calls them to go ahead and miss the shot. But it was just plays like that have been on full display really with Zoe throughout the season. And so it was good to see him play well. Offensively, I think that this was probably one of his better games. He was 6 of 10 from the field, 4 of 7 from 3 with those big 18 points. He also had a steal, a block shot, plus 2, so good one for Zoe. Next up, Zach LaVine. And so, look, it wasn't the greatest shooting night tonight as far as, knocking down shots, but what was good about Zach LaVine is just his pace. Once again, I think that he did a terrific job as far as distributing the basketball and then taking over when it was necessary, especially in the fourth quarter. I think that he showed up big, knocked down some three-point shots that pretty much iced it for the Chicago Bulls. He was 5 of 10 from 3, 21 points. He had 6 assists, 2 steals. He had 3 rebounds. He was negative 10, but still, I think that, that efficiency score as far as the plus minus really doesn't really put the impact down for him as far as what he was able to do for the Bulls down the stretch. And so next up, Josh Giddey. And so Josh Giddey, he got the double-double, 12 points, 10 assists today, 4 rebounds. He was negative 8. He was 5 of 8 from the field. But I think more importantly for Josh Giddey, the biggest takeaway is that he had a double-double. He's been playing pretty well. The confidence is there. He had some questionable turnovers for sure. He had like a behind the back that went off of Aaron Gordon's leg. He thought it was a kickball. It turns out to be a turnover. Nevertheless, still got the stats there, filling up the stat sheet. So good for him with Josh Giddey. And so I think the MVPs of the game, it was the bench performance here from the Chicago Bulls. And let's start with Patrick Williams. And so, look, Patrick Williams moved to the bench. I guess Billy Donovan wanted to go a little bit more strategic with this since they were bringing Aaron Gordon off of the bench. And Patrick Williams responded. He had 11 points. He had 8 rebounds in this. He had 3 assists. He had a steal. He was plus 16. He was 5 of 12. But more importantly, he was actually assertive. And I think that they made an assertive effort to actually run some plays for him. So if you watch this game, that's one of the things that Stacey King talked about. And also, too, you can see that they were trying to make an effort to get Patrick Williams the ball. And so he did a great job there taking advantage of that. And so now it is, what is Patrick Williams going to do in this next game? Because we see, the flashes from Patrick Williams, and then, we don't see anything else. But in tonight's game, he took care of business, so good for him. Glad to see that Billy Donovan made the adjustment, and so he's going to be right in the MVP energy talks for me tonight because he made an adjustment to actually help this team get the win tonight. So next up, I want to talk about Dalen Terry. And so, look, Dalen Terry, tons of energy tonight. We know he comes with a ton of energy all the time. It doesn't necessarily work out all the time, but I've loved the way that he's come out this season. And tonight, look, it was his time tonight because there were some times where the passes weren't the greatest passes. He's had to really kind of dig down in the mud to get the basketball up, to get the shots up, but he knocked him down. Once he did get his hands on the ball today, he was 3 of 4 from 3, 5 of 6 from the field, 13 points. He did have the 4 rebounds and the 2 assists. And so I just like the energy and the effort from Dalen Terry. He hit some good shots off the bench. We certainly needed that. Matas Buzelis, he's another one of the MVPs tonight. I've been saying this, and I went ahead and put it in the community tab. Play Matas Buzelis. He had some great dunks and really some bully ball dunks. There was one time on the break, he pushed the defender off of him, dunked it that way. He dropped Aaron Gordon and got to the rim and got a nice dunk. That's what you see on the intro there. And so, look, Matas Buzelis, he did his thing, knocked down a 3-point shot. He also had a block shot that turned out to be a goaltending violation. He didn't have to do it. It was going to be a short shot that Russell Westbrook shot up there. But still, love the energy, love the effort. Plus 10, 20 minutes. It's about time that Billy Donovan played him. And so that was good to see. So next up, Julian Phillips. Look, he almost hit his head on the backboard trying to swat the basketball defensively. The athleticism was on display for him. Knocked down a 3-point shot. And, man, you just love the energy that you saw from him tonight. And so just across the board, great effort from the bench. And lastly, Jalen Smith. And so, look, Jalen Smith, he's been coming in. He's been knocking down some shots as of late. Been getting about 7 rebounds, and that's what he did in this one. Had 1 assist. He had 2 blocks. He was plus 6. And I liked the energy that I saw from him. I liked his him being assertive as well with these shots that he knocked down too. And so, look, kudos to the bench getting it done. I think that is just really the major key story and takeaway from the game for the Chicago Bulls here, because they helped actually with a run where they got back in the game. I think it was like 13-0 run. Pretty much they got the Bulls back in the game, but a lot of great bench effort. And so next up, just looking at the team, box scores and statistics here and some of the key takeaways out of this. And so, look, the Chicago Bulls were able to come back and out-rebound the Denver Nuggets 47-42. That was good to see. The turnovers, I thought, were going to be the story of the night because it did not start off very well for the Chicago Bulls, but they only end up with 17. Not saying that that's a good number, but it seemed like it was going to trend a lot more than 17. So 17-15 there, the Bulls in the turnover battle. The Nuggets continuously got out in the fast break and transition, 30-15 there, and the Nuggets beat the Chicago Bulls up in the paint, 84-38. Next up, as far as the steals, Nuggets 13-11 there, 5-5 as far as the tied block shots totals or whatever. They were tied in block shots, 5 apiece on each team. Next up, the assists. And so the assists were there for the Chicago Bulls. They did a great job with the 35 assists tonight, shot the basketball very well, 50% from the field, 45.3 from 3. Talked about the amount of three-pointers that they hit in this game. With the Nuggets, they actually shot a pretty good field goal percentage at 52%, but only 22.2% from 3. And so, look, this is a great win for the Chicago Bulls as they were able to come back in this game. I'm not sure, why they were able to rise to the occasion in this one and have not been able to rise to the occasion in the other games, especially that last game against the Sixers with no Embiid. They lose Paul George and they find a way to lose that game. But this game, look, they come all the way back and they get it done. And they get it done with the bench too, with Billy Donovan making that adjustment and taking Patrick Williams out of the starting lineup. And so let me know in the comments what your key takeaway is from tonight's game. Love to hear it. Just want to thank everybody out there for liking, subscribing, and sharing to the content. It means a lot to us here at Bulls Digest. So we try to reach our goal of 5,000 subscribers by the end of the NBA season out there. So make sure you go ahead and slam dunk on that subscribe button. That's how we get to our subscriber count there. And so, look, I just want to say this before we jump out of here. Like any trade that the Chicago Bulls make, if they do with this trade deadline coming up this upcoming Thursday, you're going to need to have games like this. You need to be able to evaluate your talent, because if you're going to make a trade, it has to make sense with the pieces that you're looking to keep. And also, too, if you're looking to make a trade, then you need to have at least evaluated your talent to see if that is something that you want to keep with your team in the long-term build. And so this is going to be important as this team continues to reshape, hopefully rebuild, and get back to being a serious contender once more in the NBA. And so this was good to see that we actually used our bench, and it's important. It's an important part of the game. Look, the Denver Nuggets, I think, have really struggled as good as they've been, and I've talked about this before, that they don't have Jeff Green anymore. They don't have Reggie Jackson. They don't have those players that they had before on the bench, and so your bench is everything. And so it's good to see that the Chicago Bulls used their bench tonight. So go Bulls. I will see you on the next one. Peace.